Scripture reading this morning, we're reading from Psalm 105, verses 1 through 12. Oh, give thanks to the Lord. Call upon his name. Make known his deeds among the peoples. Sing to him. Sing psalms to him. Talk of all his wondrous works. Glory in his holy name. Let the hearts of those rejoice who seek the Lord. Seek the Lord and his strength. Seek his face evermore. Remember his marvelous works which he has done, his wonders and the judgments of his mouth. O seed of Abraham, his servant, you children of Jacob, his chosen ones. He is the Lord our God. His judgments are in all the earth. He remembers his covenant forever, the word which he commanded for 1,000 generations, the covenant which he made with Abraham, and his oath to Isaac, and confirmed it to Jacob for a statute to Israel as an everlasting covenant, saying, to you I will give the land of Canaan as the allotment of your inheritance, when they were few in number, indeed very few, and strangers in it. Please be seated.
It's a beautiful day, and we're thankful for each one that are here with us today. We, as typical with holiday weeks, we have a lot of people that are out of town and away, so keep them in your prayers. Daryl's off with the teenagers up in Jacksonville this weekend, so remember them as they travel back this afternoon. But we're also thankful that the holidays bring folks our way as well. And so we're glad that you're here, and if you're visiting, we're so glad that you have found us, and we hope that you'll come back at other opportunities. Let me say here at the beginning for today, for my family, we are honored that the congregation, the ladies, are having this shower this afternoon, and we're blessed to have some visitors with us as well. Aubrey's future mother-in-law is with us, and so we're just glad that everyone could be a part of that, and we appreciate, again, the effort that the ladies have put forth for our family as well. I heard about a famous art collector who was walking down a street in a downtown area. And then as he was passing this second-hand store, he just glanced over and he saw a cat lapping some milk from a saucer. He did a double take. That saucer was a very rare piece of fine art, and he recognized immediately the value of that saucer. So he went into the store and he looked at the owner and he said, I'd like to buy your cat out there if I could. Would you sell him to me for $2? The man said, oh no, the cat's not for sale. The man said, well, I really need a cat around my place to catch mice. Would you sell him to me for $20? The man in the store said, sold. The man said, well, would you throw in that saucer so that I don't have to worry about getting a dish for the cat? The owner there said, no, I couldn't do that. He said, well, why not? It's just with the cat. He said, oh no, that's my lucky saucer. He said, so far this week, I've sold 68 cats. Oftentimes, our blessings come so frequently that we take them for granted. We don't know the true value of certain things because we've experienced or been privileged to have these things for so long, especially the things that we have in our lives. It's not until those things are gone before we appreciate them truly, genuinely. Someone said if we pause to think, we'll have cause to thank. Someone else said true thanksgiving is a cultivated habit, not a yearly ritual. Someone else said the greatest possession for which to be thankful is a thankful heart. Here in Psalm 105, the psalmist there describes, and he rehearses the history. He talks going back from Abraham to Joseph and the deliverance that God gives for his people in the Exodus. And he leads them and provides for them all through the wandering of the wilderness until he brings them for the conquest of the land of Canaan. Oh, God has been so good to his people. Many times when we just hear the word history, we immediately start to recoil and kind of crawl within and say, oh, that's going to be boring. Not if it's your history. If you listen and as you grow, if you appreciate your parents' stories, the stories of their childhood, the stories of their family, the stories of their past and their grandparents, what you begin to appreciate is that their history is your history. It becomes personal. When we read the Bible, and especially the Old Testament, we need to realize this is God's plan unfolding. It's not just about them there. It's about us now. What God has provided in Jesus Christ is something that started a long time ago, and that thread all through the pages of the Bible is something that is woven into a tapestry that is too wonderful to behold all at once. Psalm 105 is all about that history. In the New Testament, Paul says in Romans 15:4, for whatever things were written before were written for our learning, that we, through the patience and comfort of the Scriptures, might have hope. How much hope you have is probably how much attention you've given to what's in those pages. Paul would later say in 1 Corinthians 10 and verse 6, now all these things happened as examples, to the intent that we would not lust after evil things as they also lusted. In other words, in the mistakes and the failures, to appreciate and to thank God, we see how we can avoid the same pitfalls that the Israelites fell into. Time and time again in their history. They forgot God. Brother Story was exactly right. God is not only a God who's into remembering, but He's worth remembering. And we need to appreciate and we need to be thankful. So I want you to think about with me for a few minutes this morning about our Thanksgiving. Not just the national holiday, but each one of us appreciating and being thankful in our hearts for what God has done. Number one, the focus of a thankful heart is God. God is good. God is so generous. God is gracious. God as a giver has given us so much. He's given us everything. And when we neglect that or when we miss that, it only is to our detriment. We're the one who is harmed by not recognizing God. Look here in Psalm 105 at a couple of the things as Lloyd read for us in the first verses, early verses. Look in verse 5. Remember His marvelous works, which He has done, His wonders, and the judgments of His mouth. When you think about the way in which God should be remembered, look at verse 8. He remembers His covenant forever, the word which He commanded for 1,000 generations. Aren't you glad that God is faithful? Aren't you glad that God remembers His covenant, His promises? The very principles by which the entire universe operates, those are continual. We don't have to get up every morning and pray that there's going to be gravity. We don't have to pray that the earth will keep revolving on its axis and there will be sunlight. We don't have to pray that there are going to be the fruitful seasons. God gives us these, and He is faithful. And in the same way as God is faithful in the physical realm, God keeps His promises in the spiritual realm as well. God is faithful. What we see is that God is worth remembering. And therefore, we ought to recognize His goodness. Throughout this psalm, throughout all 45 verses, the psalmist talks about God's leading, God's love, God's guidance, God's provision. God keeps all of His covenants. Look down toward the end in verses 39 to 41. Talking about leading the children of Israel all through the wilderness for 40 years. He spread a cloud for a covering and fire to give light in the night. The people asked, and He brought quail and satisfied them with the bread of heaven. He opened the rock and water gushed out. It ran in the dry places like a river. Whether it was the manna, that little white bread-like substance that they had, that the very word manna means, what is it? You know, I don't know about you, but I don't eat a lot of things that I don't know what it is. If I'm not sure, I'm not going to put it in my mouth. But they looked at that little manna that God had provided, and God told them it was edible. It would sustain them, and they said, what is it? But they ate it. And they ate it for 40 years, all throughout that wilderness wandering. When they needed water, God brought it forth from a rock. God was able to take bitter waters and turn them sweet. Understand, God provided for them. God was faithful. And if we're going to focus our thanksgiving on God, we're going to be able to recognize. Look back in verse 1. As he says, oh, give thanks to the Lord, call upon his name. Call upon his name. Think about what Scripture says on the day of Pentecost in Acts chapter 2, as Peter quotes from Joel, the prophet, about the strange things that were going on, how the Spirit had come and they were speaking in these languages which they had not learned or studied. But there, from Joel 2:32, in Acts 2:21, Peter says, whoever calls upon the Lord, calls upon the name of the Lord, shall be saved. Over in Romans 10:13, Paul says the same thing. Whoever calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved. What's sad about this is that many people don't understand what this phrase means. When we talk about the name of the Lord, think about what Jesus said in Matthew 7:21. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. And you look at those two phrases, you said, well, whoever calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved. But Jesus says, not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord. Well, which is it? Is this a contradiction? No. What we see in the Bible over and over is that we see that these ideas can be reconciled if we just take the time. Understand that the idea of calling on the name of the Lord is when we exercise the humility to say, Lord, what you say goes. I'm going to put God in the position of being my Lord, my master, the sovereign being who is over my life. He created me. He gave me everything. And I will love him and serve him. In that sense, when Jesus says in John 8:24, except you believe that I am he, you will die in your sins. When Jesus says in Luke 13:3, except you repent, you will all likewise perish. Believing and repenting are a part of calling on the name of the Lord. When Jesus says in Matthew 18, verse 3, unless you are converted and become as this little child, you will by no means enter the kingdom of heaven. Humility says, if God says it, I'll do it. We come to what Jesus said when he told his disciples to go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. See there in Acts chapter 2, after Peter quoted that from Joel 2:32, whoever calls on the name of the Lord, when he got to the end of his message, they said, well, what shall we do? And so Peter said, I've already told you to call on the name of the Lord, but let me tell you what that means. Let me tell you what kind of a process that represents. He says, repent, let every one of you be baptized in the name of Jesus Christ for the remission of sins, and you shall receive the gift of the Holy Spirit. Later on, Saul of Tarsus has been praying. He's been blind, fasting for 3 days. He knows who Jesus is. Ananias, a preacher, comes to him, and as Paul, the apostle, tells about his conversion in his own words in Acts 22 and verse 16, he says that Ananias came to him and said, Saul, why are you waiting? Arise and be baptized and wash away your sins, calling on the name of the Lord. See, the process includes all of that. If I'm going to call him my Lord, it means I'm going to submit to what he commands. I'm going to do his will so that I can enjoy what he offers to me. A thankful heart will call on the name of the Lord, recognizing him as Lord and giving him the allegiance. It's that same kind of person. Look in verse 4. Seek the Lord in his strength. Seek his face forevermore. The Lord answers the prayers that are offered in his name. Those who are recognizing and living according to the submission to his will, they will be the ones, look at verse 2, who sing to him, sing psalms to him, who talk of all his wondrous works. If the focus of our thanksgiving is God, who are we talking about? Do we talk about ourselves or do we talk about God? Heard about a little 4-year-old who was talking with his mom and his dad. His dad happened to be a preacher, and he looked at his mom, and the boy's name was Whit. And Whit looked at his mom and he says, "Does God wear a cape?" Well, you can imagine where a 4-year-old would get that idea with Superman and other hero action figures that wear a cape. The dad jumped in at that point and he said, "Well, you know, the Bible doesn't tell us that God doesn't wear a cape, so it's possible." Just imagine the faith of a 4-year-old. Oh, I'm not trying to tell you God wears a cape. What I'm telling you is that God is omnipotent. What I'm telling you is we need to believe it's this kind of a God that Israel remembered. He was the one who mastered the impossibilities. It was God who brought them across the Red Sea on dry ground. It was God who delivered them time and time again from their enemies. Their thanksgiving was because of what they had received. They had experienced His salvation. If we're going to have a thankful heart, we need to express our appreciation. Helen Keller was less than 2 years old when she had a fever. She lost her eyesight. She lost her hearing. She lost the ability to speak. Helen Keller, through much effort and training, was able to regain a sensitivity to the world. And in that process, she became a great believer in God. On one occasion, she was walking through some woods in the springtime with a friend. She touched a slender birch tree. And as she touched that tree, she could feel the vibrations of the birds singing. As they got back to their destination, Helen Keller asked her friend what she had seen. And the friend replied, "Nothing in particular." On many occasions, Helen Keller would have conversations with her sighted friends and ask them what they had been aware of, what they had seen. And they would say, similarly, not much. Helen Keller came to the conclusion that the benefit for everyone would be if they could experience a short-term blindness, they would have a greater appreciation of the world. For us to focus and have a thankful heart to God, maybe we need to reacquaint ourselves with all that God has done for us. Secondly, the foundation of a thankful heart is gratitude in the heart. There's so many times that we feign gratefulness. But let me ask you, are you genuinely grateful to God? Genuinely. How about the circumstances that you're in right now? Are you able to look at your life and say, I'm content with what I have? You realize that discontentment comes from wanting the things you don't have. Are you able to look at what you have right now and say, I thank God for what I have right now? Your circumstances. Are you comparing and saying, well, I had better circumstances 20 years ago, 50 years ago, 75 years ago? I'm scared to keep going. Understand something. If you're comparing, Paul says, godliness with contentment is great gain. For it is certain we brought nothing into the world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. For with food and clothing, with these, let us be content. 1 Timothy 6 through 8. Understand contentment, the joy that you have. You say, well, if my circumstances were different, no. The joy that you should have should be because it is based on your relationship with God. The peace that you have should be based on your relationship with God. Paul says, let the peace of God rule in your hearts, to which also you were called into one body, and be thankful. Colossians 3:15. Thankful. Do we have that gratitude? Or is it always something more, something different? If we could just go back, I will tell you, you cannot rewind the clock. But that in no way diminishes the joy, the peace, the contentment that you should have for right now in your life. If you're looking at it where you're comparing, Marilyn Voss Savant is supposedly, she has the highest IQ in the world. She writes a little column. She was talking about that phrase, you know, that we use occasionally, the grass is greener on the other side of the fence. She spoke about a woman who one time, she was jealous of her neighbor's grass. And so what she did was something that few of us do. She walked over to her neighbor's yard and looked back at her own. And she saw that her own yard was greener than her neighbor's. She noticed that her neighbor had dirt too. Do you know why we think the grass is greener on the other side? Because we're not able to see the dirt on the other side. Gratitude is when we have it in our heart. Heard about a 38-year-old woman, housewife. Every time she would go to the movies, she would look at those beautiful actresses and she would say, if I only had their looks. She would hear someone singing with a beautiful voice and she would say, if I only had their voice. At 38 years old, someone gave her the book, The Magic of Believing. She read it. She stopped comparing herself. She took inventory of the things that she had, and she remembered that in high school, she was known as the funniest girl around. She could make people laugh. So she started using that. At the peak of her career, she was making more than $1 million a year. She did not have good looks. She had a scratchy voice. But Phyllis Diller became a success. Understand something. When you compare, when you want something that somebody else has, that's not gratitude. That's not appreciating what God has given you. Every one of us is special. Every one of us is unique. And we need to appreciate that God made us in the way that He made us. Cultivate a grateful heart. Can I tell you, parents, this is so important. In cultivating a grateful heart, walk the walk. Let your children hear the gratitude that you have. Jeffrey Froh is a doctor of psychology. He teaches at Hofstra University, just 25 miles outside of New York City. He has studied gratitude among children. Not unexpected. When children are grateful, they're happier. They have better relationships. They score better in school. They have better GPA. They are able to be more successful because they're grateful. And parents modeling gratitude makes all the difference. And I'm going to tell you something. For those of you, you say, well, my children are already grown. All right? That's a good thing. But it's never too late. If you maybe haven't always been as grateful, let them know how grateful you are now. Start being grateful today. Express it. Talk about it. Help them to help others. You see, a grateful heart opens up the possibilities of service. All of a sudden, when you've got something that you realize you have to be grateful for, you're able to look at others and say, I want to help them. I want to give them something that they too can be grateful for. Sometimes, parents, when you're trying to model this gratitude in your life, take the long view. I will tell you it's a lot like broccoli or Brussels sprouts, and that is it may take time, but sooner or later it'll catch on. The kids will get it, but take the long view. Show them that gratitude. Thirdly, the fruit of a thankful heart is expressed in giving. It's not just the contribution that you put into the plate. I appreciated what Brother Story said today too, because we don't expect visitors to necessarily give. As Christians, we have a commitment, and here at South Trail, we have a commitment to the Lord's church here to help spread the gospel. But understand something, that when we're talking about giving, we're not just talking about on Sunday in the collection plate. We're talking about in our lives. God is a generous giver. There's not any of us who can outgive God. In Luke chapter 6 and verse 38, Luke 6:38, Jesus said, give and it will be given to you. Luke 6:38. Give and it will be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over will be put into your bosom. For with the same measure that you use, it will be measured back to you. You know why some of us may feel like we haven't received as much? Is because we're using too small a scoop. Heard about a farmer who was so generous, and people said, how can you keep giving? He said, well, no matter how much I give, God keeps giving back, and God's got the bigger shovel. God's got the bigger shovel. There's not anything that we can do that will outgive God. In the Old Testament, in 1 Chronicles chapter 29, David is getting ready to turn the kingdom over to his son, Solomon. And in that passage, there in 1 Chronicles 29, David has accumulated some materials that he wants to give to Solomon for the building of the temple. And there in 1 Chronicles 29, verses 3 and 4, listen to what David, not just out of the national treasury, but out of his personal funds, what David gives. He says, moreover, because I have set my affection on the house of my God, I have given to the house of my God over and above all that I have prepared for the holy house, my own special treasure of gold and silver, 3,000 talents of gold, and of the gold of Ophir, and 7,000 talents of refined silver to overlay the walls of the houses. This gold and this silver, I did a calculation just this morning, and it was just around $6 billion that David gave. That's billion. David, back about almost 1,000 years before Jesus, David gave $6 billion. Think of it. The wealth. David had had all of these different battles and wars, and he had collected all of the spoils of those battles, and David had become a very wealthy man. He's king over Israel. He can command that the nation pay for this. After all, this was God's house, not David's house. But David wanted to give. Before that, David had bought the land that would be used for the construction. In 2 Samuel 24, verse 24, David had talked to Araunah, the owner of this land there in Jerusalem, and he bought it. Araunah said, if you're going to use it for that, I'll give it to you. David said, no, I'm not going to give something to my Lord that did not cost me something. Oh, what a spirit of giving to the Lord. When we talk about fruit of thankful hearts, we're talking about expressing it and giving to the Lord. What are you willing to give to the God who has given you everything? There was a king who had spared this peasant woman. Every day afterwards, this peasant woman came to the gates of the palace, and she extolled the greatness of the king, and she would say, I can never repay the debt that I owe him. Day after day, she expressed this. One day, the king was in his coach, and he was traveling past this peasant woman's cottage. As he looked out, he saw a fruit tree. Oh, it had beautiful fruit, luscious fruit, mouth-watering fruit. The king wanted just a taste. He sent one of his servants to the door to see if he could get some fruit for him to eat and then a little bit to take home. The woman there said, no, 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 no. I have only enough for myself. Now imagine that. Every day she would express the words of her gratitude, but then when there was an opportunity to actually give, she closed her heart. Was her gratitude genuine? I think not. When we look at our lives, when we think about the words that we say that express the gratitude that we give lip service to, is that thankfulness genuine? Are we giving of our lives? Are we opening up everything that we have and giving to God to express the fruit of a thankful heart? This morning, are you thankful? If you are thankful, then you're going to want to partake of the greatest gift of all, and that is Jesus Christ. And if you've never been obedient to the gospel, if you've never put your faith by your humility, trusting and repenting, making that good confession, and being born again by being baptized into Christ, you can do that today. That's a show of your gratitude as you experience the spiritual blessings that will make you even more thankful. If you're a Christian, and you realize in your life there are some things that you've held back your gratitude, and your gratitude hasn't been as genuine as you would want, get whatever it is out of the way. If there's some sin in your life, confess it. If we can help you in any way, just step to the front. We'll be glad to encourage you. Won't you come right now while we stand and while we sing? Just